Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Morinzi at Top Stories. The 34-year-old man who stabbed to death his girlfriend in Bonaberry last month has been presented to the press this November 5, 2021. He was arrested in Susa. And the city of Yaoundé is again submerged by rubbish as workers of the waste management company Hizakam have embarked on another strike action barely 1 week after the previous predicament. And COVID-19 vaccination coverage rate still about 2%, very low from the estimated 20%. The government wants to move Cameroonians to get the vaccines, reason for the intensified national vaccination campaign to run from the 17th to the 21st of November 2021. Those were major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. The 34-year-old man who stabbed to death his girlfriend last month in Bonaberry has been presented to the press this November 5, 2021. He was caught in Susa and is presently being detained at the judicial police in Douala. The details in the following story with Gladys Ambo Zibang.
This is a knife with which 34-year-old alleged assassin Raoul Chafak, alias Mboma, pierced to death his former girlfriend, 26-year-old Christelle, in her house in Bipele, Bonaberry, in the Douala 4 subdivision on October 26, 2021, before running to Susa on the outskirts of Douala, where he was picked up and detained by the police after thorough investigations. He was presented to the press this November 5, 2021.
In the night of the 29th October, a 26-year-old girl named Christelle was killed by her ex-boyfriend in front of her children. This guy ran away and the police began to track him. He was found at Susa with the help of the element of the public security post of Susa. This guy will be presented to the prosecutor of the Republic.
The heinous act reportedly took place in the watchful eyes of the deceased children who narrated the story to family members and neighbors. According to the children who witnessed the incident, Christelle returned home after selling fish as usual and laid on the sofa. Just a few minutes later, the man opened the door and Christelle reminded him of warnings against visiting her, but he immediately reached for a knife and pierced her on the chest, and she died on the spot. It was only later that a neighbor reportedly found the alleged murderer washing blood from his hands, and in her quest to know why the children were crying, that she found Christelle lying dead and she immediately went unconscious. The family of the deceased has expressed gratitude to security forces for laying hands on the culprit, who is expected to appear before the state prosecutor.
The city of Yaoundé is again submerged by rubbish after workers of the waste management company Hizakam have again embarked on another strike action 1 week after the previous predicament. The workers say promises made on payment of the delayed salaries have not been met, as we hear the following story with Hai Sencha.
No money, no work is the reigning slogan. Here they are, workers of Hizakam, loitering on the streets in front of their head office, some sitting tight to the soil under the trees, the motorable gate blocked, no entry nor exit of walking trucks. Back on a striking mode, just 1 week after, promises made after their first action, they say, have not been respected. The promise paid, they have paid only 1 month, and they are not saying anything about the 2 remaining months. So we have decided to stop work until our money is paid. The hygienic agents decry the inhuman treatment meted on them by some authorities, with others declaring them persona non grata even as they struggle to reclaim their salaries.
Nous, on n'a pas de problème avec notre...
We don't have a problem with our director, but the manner in which he talks to us. He openly told us that he doesn't care if our children are in school or not. Is that how a father should respond to his crying children?
Cela à ses enfants. Nous sommes ses enfants.
Consequently, the heaps of garbage in the nation's political capital getting back to a terrible state. The laborers insist the situation will remain same if their problem is not addressed.
Je vous dis, honnêtement parlant, nous sommes fat.
Honestly speaking, we are tired of lies. We are not ready for such anymore. This time around, we are determined. If the President Director General cannot do something for us, let the states look into our problem. Meantime, contacted on the phone, authorities say they are multiplying meetings and consultation to resolve the cry of the hungry and disgruntled workers.
COVID-19 vaccination rate at a 2%, far below the 20% expected rate. Government wants to move Cameroonians to get the vaccine, reason why the intensified vaccination campaign to run from the 17th to the 21st of November 2021. Reason for focus of a press briefing today in Yaoundé. Beatrice Gamo completes that story.
Vaccination against COVID-19 pandemic started here in Cameroon last April and was amplified last July. After 6 months, vaccination coverage rate, health officials say, is so low, about 2%, far below the 20% target.
We succeeded to vaccinate up to 490,000 doses of COVID-19, but we have a problem with the person completely vaccinated because we just reached 150,000 person completely vaccine who received their 2 doses protocol vaccine, or Johnson & Johnson, who is only 1 dose.
How can this trend be changed? Reaching at least 3% of the population, the vision of the state intensified national vaccination campaign announced to begin November the 17th till the 21st. A change of mindset imperative. Why this time around the focus will be
on communication, as you see. We want to better discuss, better exchange with population, explain to them that the vaccines are safe, the vaccines are efficient, so they can massively go to vaccination.
The target still the same. Health personnel, persons up to 50.
People who are living with like diabetes, hypertension, other chronic diseases like sickle cells, kidney failure, and so on.
From health facilities, the campaign will move into the different neighborhoods, villages, discussions with religious, traditional leaders, administrative authorities. Those below 18 years are not eligible for the vaccines, like persons with high temperature and pregnant women. The COVID-19 statistics in Cameroon reveals 104,348 confirmed cases, 100,803 recovered, and 1,731 deaths.
The newly installed divisional officer for Limbe 1 has been told to shun the ghost town phenomenon and solve the chieftaincy and land disputes, and to bring back a peace in the seaside resort city of Limbe, which is preparing to host the African football jamboree. The recommendations were dished out by the SDO to his new collaborator. As we hear the following story, Ines Ondwambala.
This is your divisional officer, Mr. Innocent Moni Nanje. Take command.
Innocent Moni Nanje is the new divisional officer of Limbe 1 subdivision. He is officially installed at the time the city of Limbe is bracing up to host the 2021 African Nations Cup. He is expected to mobilize the population of Limbe 1 subdivision and to maintain peace and serenity in the seaside resort city for the success of the Continental Football Jamboree. While commissioning Innocent Moni Nanje to his functions, the senior divisional officer for FACO, Emmanuel Ledoux Ngamba, urged him to shun land dispute, chieftaincy matters, to strive for security by working towards curbing down the ghost town phenomenon, which is fast gaining ground in Limbe.
I, however, urge you to implement a positive synergy to foster development and overcome the major preoccupations of your administrative unit, which are security challenges, Monday ghost towns, land and chieftaincy issues, urban disorders, to name a few.
The newly installed Dio of Limbe 1 has promised to work hand in glove with the local population.
My plan of action for my stay here, I would say it will be threefold. Service, loyalty, and peace.
The new Dio of Limbe replaces Gilbert Nkwensi Acha, promoted as Secretary General at the Southwest Governor's Office. The installation ceremony, which held at the Manga Williams Avenue, was graced by award of medals to recipients.
Young entrepreneurs in Cameroon are facing a lot of difficulties despite very bright ideas as startups. They span from maturing decision-making and finances. In the following report, Entrepreneurial mentor says young people must not give up despite failures. Kejan Henry Atembe reports.
Young entrepreneurs in Cameroon, especially startups, are undergoing a lot of challenges. The challenges have pushed many of them to rely on mentoring for a breakthrough. One of such erudite mentors is Dr. William Tassong of the Tassong Foundation.
By innovation and entrepreneurship, we mean being able to assist young people conceive an idea and develop that into a product and make business out of that. And by so doing, they could obviously help themselves in employment. They could employ their peers. And again, we're going to have a knock-on effect to the whole economy. And as you know, the major economies of the world, they run around small and medium-sized enterprises. And in Cameroon, that has been a major issue.
With youth unemployment rate currently staggering at approximately 3.6%, according to Aaron O'Neill's statistics on Cameroon, the youths are relying more and more on micro-projects. According to Dr. William Tassong, the foundation is pleased with their performances.
We started a program. We've helped quite a lot of young people in their businesses. Some of them came to us already just with an idea. Some came, they were already in business, but they were struggling with a lot of problems and challenges. So our aim at the mentorship program is basically to sit down with them, as every business, has a different challenge. But generally, the challenges are very similar. To help them in terms of how to make a decision, really. What is the process for making a decision? Because as you can see, everything you do, whether successful or fail, depends on the decision you make.
Young Cameroonians have demonstrated creative spirits in various domains like agriculture, food processing, food transformation, telecoms, and the development of softwares. Many of them have been credited for inventions, though their major challenge is access to finance.
Some university students in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, have been tasked to serve as peace agents, promote unity and living together in their respective schools and society. The assignment lecturers, anthropologists and political scientists say the youth must unite forces to restore the much needed peace in Cameroon. More with our student journalist in Yaoundé.
Consolidation of peace, stability, unity and resilience in Cameroon is the theme that marked this consultation conference between some lecturers, anthropologists and some students drawn from different higher institutions of learning. The coming together of these institutional actors, November 4th in Yaoundé, is aimed at sensitizing the young people on the promotion of peace in Cameroon.
It's extremely important for Cameroon that is seeking for peace. Peace cannot be decreed, cannot be obtained through force. It's inclusive dialogue for us to get there.
The youth challenged to act as peace ambassadors, especially at these very challenging moments of the country.
The young people have to understand where the deterioration of peace has come from. It is necessary for them to overcome greed, politically, socially, and economically.
According to the anthropologists and politicians, consolidation of peace is a long process and demands negotiation, dialogue, and mutual support for the benefits of Cameroon and Cameroonians at large.
The National Transport Syndicate have embarked on the production of new identification badges for taxis to ensure the control of security challenges during the upcoming African Cup of Nations, a system they say will be accompanied by a GPS electronic system for effective surveillance. They were presenting the new dispositions this day during a press conference. As we hear the following story with Hyacinth Cha.
This is a new badge for taxis in circulation within the major towns and cities of Cameroon. The identification document designed in typical AFCON colors with the objective of maintaining absolute security before, during and after the Total Energies African Cup of Nations in Cameroon.
We're ready to host the African Cup of Nations so that there is too much insecurity in the taxi sectors, so that all the drivers' union have decided to working together to fight against this insecurity and to make sure that only the professional drivers could work at that special period and after the competition.
A system, they say, will be accompanied by the GPS device and a central electronic control unit.
We are taking an operator, a technical operator, which we work in partnership with the syndicate, with the drivers union, and we have decided to create a central control system to all those operations.
Fruits of a come together of 17 national transport trade unions to make order reign within the transport sector. Taxi drivers have up to December 1st to be in possession of the new badge. The piece with a 5 years duration, unveiling the new system to the press this November 5th in Yaoundé. The syndicate leaders announced regular checked missions in towns in the company of the forces of law and order, and hesitant individuals, they say, will be imposed heavy sanctions.
And that report by Hyacinth Cha brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast in the English language on Canal de International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at this never Senkan. Alain Gislain Kanga. Be coming up next is the brief with Boban Gomna. As for me, I'll be back on Monday for another edition. Good night.